So let's check if this is arithmetic. How do I do that? It's a very quick formula. I'm going to take two consecutive numbers. So in this case, I'm going to take -6 and -12. And to check if it's arithmetic, we simply do this. I take the second of the two numbers, so -12, and then I subtract away my other number, which in this case is -6. So notice, this is to check if it's arithmetic. So it's -12, subtract, and then you plug in the -6. So it's second term minus first term. And it should give me what I'm adding or subtracting by. So if you do this math correctly, -12, two negatives here make a positive. And if you do this math, it's saying I should be subtracting 6 to get to each term. So again, this is subtracting 6, which we call, when you're doing arithmetic, this is called the common difference. Okay, so let's test if it's arithmetic. So -6 and -6, that gives me -12. But -6 with -12, that actually equals -18. And what you'll notice, it doesn't work. I'm supposed to get -24. So that tells me that it's not arithmetic. Okay? So we do not have a common difference. So we're going to check if it's geometric. So how do I check if it's geometric? Remember, geometric is a common multiplier. To check if it's geometric, we kind of do the same idea. We're going to take two consecutive terms. So two terms in order. It doesn't matter which two, but I'm going to do the first two. And I'm going to take the second one, so -12. And to check if it's geometric, you're going to divide by the first term. So the one before it. In this case, -6. And then we do this math. It gives me +2. So this says we are multiplying by 2. So we're going to check if this is the case. Am I multiplying by 2? Okay. This multiplication is called the common multiplier or common ratio. It's same thing, same idea. Okay, so let's check it. If I multiply -6 times 2, it's -12. -12 times 2, -24. -24 times 2, -48. -48 times 2, -96. We have just found out that since we're multiplying, this is a geometric sequence. Okay? So now that we know it's geometric, we can then write the explicit formula, because we're going to use this formula now, the geometric formula. Okay? So let's write it. I'm going to write it in function form. All right? We're going to call this function f. So it's going to be f of n equals, now the first thing I want to write is the first term. So we look at our sequence. What's the first term? -6. The next thing we want to write is the thing we're multiplying, the number we're multiplying by, called the common ratio or common multiplier. In that case, it's 2. So we're going to be multiplying. So we're multiplying by 2. And then the last thing we do is just put the exponent of n-1 above our common multiplier. So it's n-1. Okay? And that is our explicit formula. Pretty simple. If we're doing subscript form, it's the same idea, but now it's just subscript. But it looks exactly the same. Okay? So function form, subscript form. All right, we're done with the explicit formula for geometric. Now we want the 10th term, so that means I'm going to plug in the number 10 for n. Okay, you're probably going to need a calculator here. So the 10th term of my sequence or my function is -6 times 2, and it's 10 minus 1. Okay, so let's do this math. It's going to equal -6. Remember, do not multiply first. You got to do exponents first. So it's -6 times 2 to the 9th power. All right, I got to take my calculator out because that's going to be a big number. So 2 to the 9th power, it's 2 is going to equal -6 times 512. Okay, almost done. So now we want the 10th term is going to equal 512 times -6. That's going to give me -3072. So we just found the 10th term in our sequence. Okay. So now describe what the graph will look like using a complete sentence. So real quick, I'm going to sketch the graph. So if we had to graph this thing, we know it's geometric, which means it's going to be a curve like this, or it's going to be a curve like this. Okay, so which one do we have? Well, since our common multiplier is positive, my common multiplier is positive, it's actually going to go up. It's going to curve up. Okay? All right? So, do your best there to describe that. Remember using the words rate of change. Okay? So it should curve. Actually, you know what? My mistake. Sorry, we started at negative. So think about it this way. My first term is -6. My second term, is -12. So it's actually going to curve up, but we're in the opposite side of the x-axis. Okay, again, you think of these as points. 1 -6 would be 1 -6 here. 1 -12 or 2 -12 would be 2 -12, 3 -24, 4 -48. So it's going to have this curve. Okay? So then you would describe that rate of change. It's decreasing. My graph is decreasing. We're going down as we go from left to right. All right? So just get in the habit of looking at that. Okay, let's jump over to number 7. Okay, we're going to check if it's arithmetic or geometric. We can use these formulas if you want, but in this case, it should be pretty easy to see what's happening here. Okay, so what I always like to do is, if the numbers are nice, like whole numbers like this, I'm going to try to just do this in my head. So I first want to try arithmetic, which means can I figure out what's adding or subtracting? So if you look, in my opinion, 52 to 45, we are actually going down by 7, subtracting by 7. So let's see if that works for all of them. If it doesn't work, then we try geometric. We try to figure out if there's something multiplying. Okay, so right here, 52 minus 7, we get 45. That's good. 45 minus 7, 38. It works. 38 minus 7 is 31. 31 minus 7 is 24. So we found that this is arithmetic. Okay, because it has a common difference. Something is adding or subtracting. Okay, now that we know it's arithmetic, we're going to use this formula, okay, to write the explicit rule. So it's f of n again. We'll just use f as our function. Equals, and if you look, the formula says we want the first term, 52. Okay, 52, and then we're going to put the common difference. So we are subtracting 7. So I'm going to go minus 7. And then we're going to multiply that common difference by n minus 1. All right, this is actually the arithmetic sequence formula. But as I mentioned last week, we can clean this up even more. Okay, we can distribute. So I'm going to clean this up to make it a nice formula. So I'm going to go negative 7 and distribute here. So it's 52 minus 7 times n, and negative 7 times negative 1. That's going to give me positive 7. Okay, and you only can do this for arithmetic formulas, okay? Now we're going to combine these like terms. Positive 52 and positive 7. If I combine those, they give me positive 59. So my cleaned up or simplified formula is negative 7n plus 59. Okay? Both of these formulas are the explicit formula. Okay? So this is just the not simplified. This is the simplified. You actually can use both and it will give you the same exact answer if you do it correctly. All right, we want the 25th term. So we're going to use the bottom one because it's faster to do. Okay? And we're going to find the 25th term here. So that means I got to plug in 25 for n. All right. And then do order of operations. So let's go ahead and negative 7 times 25 comes first. That's going to give me negative 175 plus 59. Okay. And we do that. So f of 25 is equal to negative 116. So the 25th term is negative 116. And that makes sense because we're getting lower and lower and lower as we go. All right, so now we want to describe the graph. So I'm just going to sketch it and I'll let you guys decide how to describe it. So think of this as, because arithmetic is going to be a straight line, okay? So my first term is 52. So it's 1 and think 52. We're way up here. So think of it this way. This is like 1 comma 52. Okay, my second term, again, this is just a quick sketch, is 2 comma 45. So we're just going lower. 245. The next one is 338. And then so on. 431, 524. Okay, and it just keeps going down like that. So I will let you describe what that looks like. Remember, you want to use the word rate of change. And my rate of change going down or up? Okay, in this case it's going down. Okay. All right, guys, that's the only 2 problems I wanted to do for you today because I want to give you time to work on that review that's due today. I'm also going to put some review answers on video form. So check those out to see if you're doing your review tests correctly. And then don't forget to take the test. I will take it tomorrow, see what you get, and then we'll go from there to see if you need to retake it before Sunday. Okay, you get 2 tries. All right, saying that, here's your check-in code. Check in. The rest of the time is yours to work on the assignments for this week. Good luck. Don't forget your test.